Howdy ho folks, it's your multiversal medium here with another episode of one of the worst games I played in the past decade, if not the worst, Harvestella. A game that takes its stupid writing way too seriously because it does not think it can have bad writing. Last episode we had bad writing. This episode it's going to take itself too seriously. Moving the F on, we are in a cutscene where apparently Earth's DNA is trying to turn second Earth into Earth, which is what the entire point of putting Earth's DNA into second Earth. That was legit their entire point, but it's doing so in a manner that they weren't expecting because they didn't do proper research into anything, and these effing robots are some of the most incompetent individuals I have ever met in any setting. And I was just talking about how in Fantasy Life I'm enjoying it even with the bad writing. And when I recorded Fantasy Life, I mentioned I'm perfectly fine with the plushling race when I don't like stupid, annoying mascot type characters in JRPGs. Because the writing for Fantasy Life is not serious enough where they ruin the writing. I actually hate stupid mascot characters in JRPGs because they ruin any writing into any mood you're trying to set. It's a major issue that JRPGs feel like they need to have a stupid comic relief character that just perfectly stands out and ruins every scene they're in. I don't know why they keep doing that. I really don't know why they keep doing that. Anyways, let's just continue this cutscene and hopefully I can finish this game, this recording session. Put it simply, it gradually displayed power to revert this planet, Re-Gaia, into the lost Gaia it was before. Yeah, that was the entire point of you putting the Astrum cells into the planet. The transformation was small at first, but the substances from lost Gaia began to appear on Re-Gaia. Yeah, that was the point. They accompanied any energization of the sea's light and seemed to have some correlation with quietus. Okay, so hold on a moment. So with the Heaven's Egg, what? Not just the Heaven's Egg, several other structures appeared. There's a philosophical flame and automata too. That is correct. They too are a part of this naturalization phenomena. This is so stupid. This is so stupid. So, with what it was explaining, I'm going to wait until the end of the cutscene to determine whether or not it's saying it the way I think it is. But with how it was just explained, it sounded like it's not so much teleporting these things onto the second planet. It's making the second planet basically grow them. You know, because of planetary DNA, obviously the planet would be able to grow a scientist lab with all the research and all the things in it, right? That's how it made it sound. It's so often stupid. I hate this. Geist called it the planetary nightmare. I don't remember caring. Planetary nightmare. Why would it be a bad thing if it's making Re-Gaia more Earth-like when that was the point? And so, for the sake of investigation, we decided to further energize the sea's light. What? Are you... That is so stupid. That is so effing stupid. Oh, these terraforming crystals we have on this planet that we're trying to terraform are resonating once a month and starting to bring in things from the Earth that we abandoned. That's really weird. What happens if I crank up the dial on them? What? Not even immediately trying to figure out how this is happening, what's causing it. What's this weird resonance that's causing things to show up on / around these seas light? No, I'm just gonna crank up the power on them. This is so often stupid. But Geist did not know the Astrum cell would cause substances from lost Gaia to appear. The Astrum cell implanted by the Sea's light may be a clone, but it is not of lost Gaia. They had no physical relationship. That is true. Oh, is the big twist that I was brought from lost Gaia? Is that the big twist? Because we showed up on Quietus? Wow. I'm just another substance brought here from Earth. It is what brought Geist investigation to a standstill. I hate this. I freaking hate this. These robots are supposed to be the most intelligent, obscenely more intelligent than humans. Anytime they come across anything they don't understand, they're just like, well, that's that. Never gonna be able to figure that out. I guess we're done with it. It's so stupid. It's happened like 5 times in this entire game. However, he was able to develop a hypothesis. What if the Astrum cell was linked to a non-physical space? Stupid. Sure. Something shared akin to a planet's memory. A non-physical space? But this is so dumb. This is... Okay, like, I'm not against weird magicy wacky BS. I've showcased this and talked about this a lot during like the Clockwork Kingdom in Dread Delusion with all of its really awesome writing and magicy wacky stuff. But that's not really super what this setting was. This setting is like sci-fi and there's magic, but we don't understand magic. Why would we understand magic? By the way, we just gave you magic. Why would you give us magic? I don't know. By the way, if we don't control the crystals that give you magic, they'll just explode. They'll explode? Yeah, we need to control how much energy we're giving them. What kind of energy are we giving them? I don't know. Like, this game is constantly trying to be sci-fi and then just have magic. And then it just completely just destroys any... It destroys any ounce of trying to world build, because they can't world build, and they just was like, yeah, this would be a cool idea, let's just have this. Like, how many different writers were on this team that never interacted with each other and then just had to come up with a cutscene / plot point? It seems like the entire writing staff weren't on the same page about what the F they were writing. This is so stupid. It was the only way to explain the phenomena that was occurring. No. No, it was not. No, it was not. So as we got further in the cutscene, it is saying that this stuff is just growing onto the planet. And Geist is assuming the Astrum cell just holds the memory of Earth, so it's making things that were on Earth grow on Earth with their man-made structures, and they're coming from a non-physical plane of existence, which is just the memory realm of the planet as a whole. I hate this. I hate this so much. I really despise this. It's not that this kind of stupid plot point thing cannot exist. It's that this is not the setting or any of the writing built up to do this kind of thing. This is just so horrible in this setting. This just sucks. Anyways, Geist came up with the hypothesis. By the way, that's the only hypothesis that would make anything work. This is the only way it would work. It has to be this way. Geist didn't try to disprove his hypothesis. Geist didn't try to do anything besides just force the fact that this hypothesis needs to be correct and force it forward. Hey, by the way, that's not how a scientist works. But I bet you guys thought he was a scientist, just like Aria. Why? Because the writers don't know anything about the scientific method. They just use buzzwords. But they think they're right. And now we circle back to last episode as to why I actually hate the writing in this game. It's not played for laughs or anything with how bad the writing is. It's not saying like, hey, I can improve. This writing thinks it's good. This is so stupid. Let's call it planetary storage. There must be a place where the memories of the planet are kept. This is so stupid. It's so many different leaps in logic. Like, why? The fact that planets are quote-unquote alive is already stupid. Secondly, we're adding the fact that we're taking a planet's DNA to implant into another planet. By the way, what happened to that planet's DNA? What happened to Regaia's DNA when we implanted the DNA here to create another Earth? Then we're saying, like, it's not just the implantation of DNA, it's the fact, like, the DNA that we gave over also has all the memories and knowledge of freaking the planet. And at this point, it's just a freaking... This is the stupid hypothetical Oni Plays did. This is the Hitler hypothetical that Oni Plays did. If you guys don't know, just look up Oni Plays clone of Hitler or something. I'm certain there's like animations of it. Oni Plays, specifically Oni, asked the other people on his channel, if you had a tiny clone of Hitler, would you torture it? And a majority of the guests were like, why would I torture a tiny clone of Hitler? It didn't do the things Hitler did. And Oni's thought process is, it's a pure clone. It has all the memories of Hitler. It thinks it did everything. We have not quite a clone of Earth. This is technically not even a clone of Earth. This is a test tube baby made from Earth's DNA that is completely separate from Earth. But now we're being told it has all the memories of Earth. This is even stupider than the Hitler freaking hypothetical on Oni Plays. That is what we're being told is the plot. And it's still not explaining magic, because why would it? You know, the only way this would effing work is if magic has always existed, and for some reason on Earth, humans just never interacted with magic. Meanwhile, the entire planet had been casting magic and doing magic-y stuff the entire time as a planet. That's the only way this would work. Humanity, with the greatest science ever, just never figured out magic existed in any way, shape, or form. When magic goes outright against everything they've done, and they should have noticed, hey, this is kind of weird that this thing's doing everything against everything we know can be at all times. Like, it's not like magic is hidden within the universe and how the universe works. It's magic just does shit against all scientific thought and process. And apparently the Earth has been constantly doing magic. And humanity that's been trying to figure out all the universe the entire time, to the point where they made AI that can travel through the universe and through space-time just perfectly, just never found anything weird about the Earth constantly doing magic, is what I'm being told. Because that's the only way this would work. This is really stupid, guys. This is really, really stupid. And the Astrum cells have a connection that passes through that non-physical space. Okay, like, I know how... Okay, so, like, let's look at it this way. Atoms. Atoms, I think, on a quantum level, are connected to other atoms that can be on the complete opposite end of the universe, and how you affect one atom actually affects the other atom at the quantum level, and they are just interacting in the same manner. We are trying to comprehend and do this. We do have theories based around this. You know, in this sci-fi setting that's actually masquerading as a high fantasy setting, but it's actually supposed to be super sci-fi-y? Wow, wouldn't that have been a better way of explaining this? Like, there's a theoretical physics thing about what the heck he just said, and it better explains what the heck they're trying to get across. But I would like to reiterate, the writers didn't do any research into anything, so they probably don't know that. They probably don't know there are theoretical physicists talking about similar things to this one line about atoms interacting with other atoms across extended distances. This is the study and what the heck we're looking into with the Hadron Collider, if I remember right. This is what we're studying in, like, the most high-end science labs for theoretical physics. But they couldn't do that research. because they wanted to write a story that made no sense. Because they think it makes perfect sense. Because they don't know how to write a story. Surely the cause of the quietus is hidden somewhere in there. Okay. Let me put it this way. Let's put it this way. Let's say everything Geist Mark II said is true. That somehow Earth is connecting to Regaia, and it's just making Regaia grow things that Earth thinks should be there at all times once a month. Just once a month or at the end of the season or whatever, it makes Regaia. They connect via Bluetooth, and Regaia suddenly grows things that Earth is like, yeah, you need to have that. That's how we as a planet work. That just explains Gaia dust on Regaia. We're going into all this like detail about like, well, that's how the Heaven's Egg would get there and all this other stuff. And it's like, that's how the Gaia dust is getting there. That's what that is. You effing idiots. I hate this. I hate this so much. If that were the case, then it would be impossible for the set to analyze given their physical circuitry. Guys had to come to terms with that fact. And so he began to break down and commit violence, you mean? Yeah, right. That's totally the next logical leap. He began to obsess over human evolution because he could feel his own artificial limitations. Sure. What? That's really stupid. But if such truth flowed into the collective consciousness, it would pollute the logic centers of the set. What? And so he severed his link? What? Dianthus was... I'm going to tell you right now, that was a major leap in logic. Dianthus was like, oh, so with all that being said, Geist had a full, like, inferiority complex build up and hated everything about the fact that they were a robot, so they, like, stopped talking to other robots because what they knew would make every robot hate being a robot and want to commit genocide. Is that what you're saying? It's like, yeah. What? No. None of that led up to Geist having an inferiority whatever. He concealed his research reports until such a time that he would be able to reach them. This is so stupid. You want to know why this is effing stupid? Do you legit want to know why this is effing stupid? Robots can use magic too. Dianthus uses lunamancy. Geist was using some sort of magic to tap into the Sea's light that was supposedly not just being energized by the Sea's light's batteries or whatever. Let's say Geist was being a magical conduit to the Sea's light, which showcases the robots can connect to that kind of stuff. This is just magicy-wagicy BS. If they can do that kind of magic, why can they not connect to other forms of magic? Which is the only way to explain how this is working. No. That entire explanation about why Geist went rogue was stupid. No, that doesn't work. That just doesn't work. That's a plot hole. It's a contradiction. I hate this. The planet's memory center oh gosh, he's gonna freaking hyperfixate on something else. I hate her so much. Finding it all a bit hard to believe. That's because there's nothing to believe. It's gibberish. It's the ramblings of a robot breaking down as you basically rip out the equivalent of its brain by putting RAM chips in different things. Huh, can't say for sure. What happens as a phenomena can one day be made clear by humans. Sure, whatever. I hate everything. Can I go now? It's what I pride myself on as a scientist. But this time, I'm not sure. You're not a scientist. You really aren't. What do you think? I think it's stupid. I think this is dumb. I don't think it's impossible. So it's like the planet's soul. I want to believe. All of these suck. I don't know why they ask the protag's opinion when you're not allowed to say no. If you give me a, do you think this is possible kind of question, let the protag say yes or no. What is the point of asking the protag when they're not allowed or given agency to answer? I was given no agency to say yes or no. I was only told to say yes in 3 different ways. That's not player agency. That is this entire game in a nutshell. You are railroaded. You are forced forward. You are held hostage. This game sucks at its narrative, and it demands you take part in the narrative as they want you to take part in it. Even if you are given the option to ask things or say things differently, they just force you back onto the road/path they said you need to be a part on. If this was a D&D campaign, everyone would have quit by now because the DM is a dickbag. This game railroads you hard. It's such a Gaian interpretation to see the planet as a life form. Aria. We were told the planet was alive in the stupid Seaslight factory. We were told that. That's what we were told. I went on an entire soliloquy about how that's stupid and how do you define life, and she was a part of the conversation in that freaking cutscene. This is what I'm talking about, where every single time we have a cutscene, the characters are just written differently than how they were in earlier cutscenes. I don't know how to handle any single character in this game because none of them act the same anytime you see them. They are completely different between the time you look at them and blink. They're just different characters. They don't know how to write a character concisely and concurrently and just consistently. I hate this. However, none of us were able to detect nor control the Proto's fall. What? You guys did detect it. That's how we got on it and redirected it. Shut up. That was like 3 cutscenes ago. We did detect it. That's how we stopped it. Given we do not understand everything about the Seaslight, how can we say anything is impossible? Why did you make fake Seaslight when you don't even comprehend what the heck they are? It is merely a hypothesis, after all. It does not need to be believed yet. I frickin'... That is such a stupid line. It's merely a hypothesis. By the way, when I introduced this hypothesis, I said it was the only thing that it could be. There's no other possibility. This hypothesis has to be true. It's so true that my other personality went completely insane with a weird inferiority complex because they weren't able to prove this hypothesis because they weren't human, even though there's no reasoning that should be the way it works. I hate this. I hate this so effing much. So effing stupid. But if you want to search the planet's memory center, then I can give you access to Geist Energization Program. What? The program should stir a reaction from the Seaslight, correct? What? You will need it if that is what it takes to operate the door to the planet's memory center. The door to the planet's memory... What are you talking about? Then I will share the program with you, Dianthus. No, like... So effing stupid. If we're talking about the planet's memory center where all this stuff is located, shouldn't we just check the astrum cells of both the Red Queen and the Seaslight? It's just whatever, who cares? And I'll share this program with you, Dianthus. I hate this. Why would Dianthus be able to do this? No, actually, this just contradicts earlier in the cutscene about why Geist went mad. Geist said they weren't able to do that. They weren't able to get to the memory center. That's why it's a hypothesis and only humans would be able to. By the way, the only way to get to the memory center is a program that only robots can use. Did they have different people just writing a different... Is this entire game just one of those... what are those games called? Where you have like, give me a noun, give me a verb, give me another noun, give me a pronoun, so on and so forth. Was this entire game just written like that? Is this entire game just a Mad Lib amongst the writers? Because it feels like that. It feels like some sentences just aren't connected. What am I dealing with? Geist was unable to learn the secrets behind the quietus. Yeah, we know that. There's no way to confirm that you will be able to either. Yeah, cool. I don't care. Fine. Why are you looking at me? In that final moment, the Geist you defeated wagered his entire being on the future you would choose. What? The chances of you refusing a logical end, the heaven shell, were predicted to be extremely low. What? No, that's stupid. It's... Every player would push for the true ending, considering the other two endings don't even have a cutscene. It's just black. They didn't have the budget to make a cutscene for the other two endings. They're legit not endings. They're just game overs. The other two endings are legit just game overs with credits. I crap you not. They didn't even make a cutscene. There's nothing there. They're not endings. So why would any player not force their way into the true quote-unquote ending? That is why Geist wagered on that future. Shut up. So you're telling me Geist had a gambling problem? And you came here, fighting against logic to do something extraordinary. I hate everyone. But that logical irrationality is what makes humanity what it is. Shut up with your weird racist BS. I am so tired of this. The unique ability to dream, to expand the realm of possibility, is the duty of an intelligent life form. Wouldn't the robots do that as well? Robots do dream of electric sheep. We know this. Blade Runner is a good movie. So please, retain your humanity until the very end. What the absolute F? Can I kill this thing? This game would not let me punch or slap Aria, but can I kill this thing? This is the final will of Geist's former persona. It has opened a path for us. I hate everything. We're going to use that program, right? No, we're going to just completely bury Dianthus in a ditch later and completely forget about this and wait for our entire species to go extinct. Geist left it for us. Feels like such a dangerous thing to use. How are we not over this when we use the frickin' memory chip just to board a frickin' pod? Why are we still having this same exact conversation? Well, he was trying to shatter the planet. Why are we having this same exact conversation? I don't think that should be a worry. Shut up, Aria. Your opinion doesn't matter. You tried to destroy the planet too. The program he used for that was an apoptosis program. Although it could still be risky. Like, Aria, your opinion doesn't matter. In what way? We energize the sea's light, then we might end up causing quietus early. I don't care about that. The only reason I didn't choose either of those endings is it kept some people alive. Let's completely destroy all life on this planet. I think it would be a better game that way. Isn't that right, Dianthus? I would say so. Well, it was short. Quietus did occur when Geist energized the sea's light. Yeah, sure. Oh no, we didn't notice that. Because why would we? Who would care? Meep meep. I see. We do not want to be too quick to rouse them then, do we? Isn't there anything we can do about it? Let's just go do it. Not unless there is some way we can stop the dispersal of Gaia dust. Oh wow, it's almost like that's been the entire point. Couldn't the fairies make a barrier? Let's just ask everyone to stay indoors. Who cares? It works every other time. There'd be no way to get the word out to every individual. Even with the Order's help, it would be tough. Yeah, you would be able to. No, this is stupid. No. No. I get a letter from this stupid castle every single time I've opened my mailbox. They can get news to every single citizen in the entire kingdom because on my stupid mailbox is a goddamn transportation like monolith thing. That's how they send me mail. They send me mail through magical teleportation. I haven't talked about it, but that's why my freaking mailbox glows when I have letters. They send it via teleportation. There is no reason we can't tell everyone via spam letters, hey, this date, this time, Quietus is going to happen. Please stay indoors for your own safety. Hey, this date, this time. Just do it for like a week straight. Just warnings, hey, do this, do this, do this. You are risking your life if you don't do this. And then we just start up the program right at that time. There's no way we can't tell everyone. I'm getting spam letters because of these effing robots, and you're telling me these robots can't just send an actual warning to everyone? Yes. It is world built that we can do that. If only there was some kind of barrier we could put up. No. No. A barrier isn't a bad idea, though. Yeah, almost like that was the entire point of the Heaven Shell thing. We can use the Quietus barrier. The Heaven Shell. The giant thingamajig we were supposed to be doing. I see what you're saying. Is there a portion of the Heaven Shell we could borrow? No. There must be. We could temporarily cover the continent with a Quietus barrier, then we could use that chance to... No, that wouldn't work. Remember, Aria, the entire point of the Heaven Shell was we were only able to keep a certain amount of humanity within it. We wouldn't have been able to cover the entire continent, because the entire continent has several settlements. If we're only able to stably have a certain amount of people alive, we cannot expect it to cover the entire continent of what is supposed to be Pangea. Because this is supposed to be Pangea, we were told it was Pangea. I swear to Christ, there was an earlier cutscene where we're on Pangea, quote unquote. It was probably the cutscene where they talked about terraforming BS. So, no, it wouldn't work that way. Plus, we add the fact that the entire point of the Heaven Shell, I don't even think was supposed to be a weird magical Quietus barrier. They were talking about it as the continuation of the Eden/Paradise project, which, as we saw, was just a physical effing mini city. It was just a tiny city. So no, the Heaven Shell program is not to frickin' make a magicy-wagicy barrier. It never was. It was to make a frickin' bunker. So yeah, this is stupid. But with that knowledge, we can also say earlier cutscenes of her having to use the Proto-Seaslight and get all the other Seaslights to make the Heaven Shell thing a thing. That was another plot hole. Yeah, it's almost like this game can't write. You know what? It's not impossible. It's totally impossible. Choose how the heck things work. Huh, an interesting idea. We should speak to Geist immediately. He must be at the unoccupied throne now. Why would he be there? What is the point of Geist being at the unoccupied throne? Why was this room not added to my map when we were in here? I can't believe I have not had a single freaking cutscene in this game that I haven't had a single cutscene that doesn't need to be torn apart. Everything in this game is so bad that every aspect of it just needs to constantly be torn apart. I can't believe they haven't had a single moment of just pure competence throughout an entire cutscene. With how many cutscenes this game freaking shoves down my throat. How have they not been competent for one entire cutscene? How are we at the final chapter and they still don't know what they're writing? How are we here and they still don't know what they're doing? Okay, guys, it's been an episode of BS still. Lots and lots of BS. Oh my gosh, we probably have like 4 more cutscenes until we can finally actually just get to the final dungeon, and then we have a bunch of cutscenes in there, I bet. I hate this game. This entire recording session is going to be cutscenes, I swear. I'll talk to you guys later. Pray for me. Seriously do. I'm not a super... I'm not religious almost whatsoever. I could use those well wishes. I really could. I'll talk to you guys later. Ciao.